welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a really hard video for me to film, so please bear with me. It's going to be a story time video about when my dad passed away, and pretty much the whole week of what happened. Growing up, me and my dad didn't really get along that much, but I would pretty much always see him. My parents were divorced when I was about 12, 13 years old, so we would go to my dad's apartment during the weekends, and we lived with my mom and my grandparents during the week. So the reason we didn't get along is he pretty much gave my sister everything she wanted, and there were no consequences for whenever she did bad things, and I would always get in trouble for every little thing. So yeah, I just didn't really get along with him because of that. And that was pretty much through my teen years. I'm going to say it wasn't until I graduated high school till we started getting along. That was maybe in 2008, 2009. Now, it was March 8th, 2014, when I last spoke with him. It was a Saturday after my birthday, and we were supposed to see each other that weekend because usually we would go out for my birthday the weekend after. But he wasn't feeling good that day, so we were talking on the phone, making plans for the following weekend. And after we made our plans, we were saying goodbye, and for some reason I said I love you to him, and I never say I love you to anyone. So after we hung up, I felt that was really weird, but I didn't think anything of it, so I went on with my weekend. And then Monday, March 10th, I woke up and I went to work. My work hours were 7 in the morning to 9 a.m. And then I had a break from 9 to, I think, 2, which I usually went home for. And then I usually went back to work from 2 to 4 p.m. I worked as a school bus monitor, so I was with children pretty much every day. And my mom was a bus driver for the same company, so we had pretty much the same boss and the same somewhat hours. That day during my break, I was taking a nap, like I usually did, and for some reason I woke up in the middle of my nap, and I had kind of a panic attack, which was strange, but I ignored it. I went back to sleep, and around sometime after that, I saw that I was getting a phone call from my dad, but I ignored it because usually he doesn't call. So I was just why is he calling? I'll just call him back later when I'm awake. So then about 2 p.m. I got up for work, and my mom called me, and she was like, "Daddy died." At first I thought she meant my grandfather, her father. But then she was like, "No, your dad died." I was totally confused. So then she was like, "Your driver knows you're not. We already spoke. I already spoke to our boss, and we're gonna be off for the next week." So she told me that she would come back to the house after her first run was done, because she had 2 runs. She had a later run after her first run to drop off the kids. So after she got home, we went to Queens, because we were in Copiague in Long Island. So we went to Queens to my dad's house, and we went to we met up with my sister and my aunt, and we went inside to see my dad's body. Now, my dad was a school safety officer, so he pretty much was in charge of his like district part. He had a boss, but he was one of the top detectives there. So pretty much the police were there helping us with everything that we needed. We went inside and saw his body, which was really upsetting. After they took his body away, we were downstairs in my grandmother's part of the house, which this was like the first time we've seen my grandmother since I was like a baby. My dad pretty much tried to keep us away from her, and I think it was my sister's first time meeting her in her whole life. So yeah, we were down there with my grandmother and my dad's girlfriend. She's the one who found him. She was the first one who found him. So his girlfriend pretty much told us everything that happened that day. She was at work, and he called her saying that something was wrong and he didn't feel right. She told him that she was on her way to his house to help him with whatever was going on, but she got stuck in traffic. When she finally got to him, she found him slouched down on the couch, not breathing. So she obviously got him on the floor and started doing CPR to try and start his heart again and get him to breathe. But nothing worked. He was already gone. She then used my dad's phone and called me and my sister, which is when I got the phone call during my nap. And since I didn't answer, she called my sister. So my sister and my aunt ended up going to my dad's house because she wouldn't tell my sister anything on the phone. She made her go to his house, which was like a block away from my grandparents' house. So my sister and my aunt found out that he was dead. And my sister then called my mom, and that's how I found out. So we were there for a couple of hours with her and my grandmother. She was completely devastated because they had just gotten engaged and they were in the process of planning their wedding and everything. So after we spent time with them, we went back to my grandparents' house, my mom's parents, and we stayed there for the rest of the week. The next day, on Tuesday, that night, I was sleeping in my aunt's room, which used to be my mom and my dad's room because they lived upstairs and my grandparents lived downstairs. It was a 3-story house. And I felt like something was in the room watching us because me and my aunt were in the bedroom sleeping at the time. But I ended up waking up, and like I said, I felt something watching us, and it didn't feel threatening or anything like that. But I also felt something else in the room that felt threatening. So I'm guessing that it was my dad and something else. And this isn't the first time that I felt stuff in the room. But I ended up going back to sleep thinking it was a dream. The day after that, my best friend Danielle came to visit, and we spent the day together, which meant everything to me because she was like one of my closest friends, and I didn't really have anyone else to talk to, so she was there for me. On the 14th, I think it was his wake. So I spent that day with my cousins, my sister, and the rest of my family. We were in a private room in the back of the funeral home. And one of my friends from high school ended up showing up for me, which was really nice of her. Her mother used to work with my dad in the school safety business, so she was there to pay her respects to him. While we were in the private room, someone brought a group of women to talk to me and my sister, and these women told us that my dad pretty much saved them. I'm not sure how exactly. I guess they were in like really bad relationships and he helped get them out of it. But I never knew that about my dad, so it was just really amazing to hear that. The next day was his funeral, which I think was a Saturday. I don't really remember anything from the funeral because I pretty much blocked a lot of it out. But what I do remember is that the police department gave one of those police goodbyes to him, which was really amazing. And if I find some pictures, I'll insert them right now. So, you thought the story wasn't going to have any drama in it? You were wrong. The drama that happened during his funeral, well, the wake first, was his mother, my grandmother. She pretty much excluded me and my sister from everything. We were supposed to have a limo. She took that from us. She needed to be the last one to say goodbye to him. She didn't take that from us because me and my sister ended up being the last one. Thank you. Thank God. I'm so grateful for that. But from what my mom told me and my dad told me in the past, she never wanted my dad to marry my mom. So she did everything in her power to try and pretty much split them up. And she also ruined their wedding. So my dad just didn't want to have anything to do with her, and he kept us away from her our whole lives. But at the wake, before the funeral, we were supposed to say goodbye and all that, but she was complaining that she wanted to be the last one to say goodbye and all that, say goodbye to him. The police officers were great. They made sure that me and my sister were the last ones, like I said. She just kept causing a major scene at the funeral and at the wake. She was obsessed with my dad. Like, ever since she lost her husband, my dad's father, she was acting like he was pretty much her husband, which is totally disgusting. I don't even want to get into that anymore. So let's see, where was I? Then she also ended up getting his flag. when he died. After we had him, after he got buried, they gave her the flag instead of me and my sister. She like I said, she excluded me and my sister from the limo, which was supposed to be for me, my sister, my mom, and the rest of our family. She only let I'm guessing her nieces and the rest of her family in it. And also around that time, my sister had started driving. She had gotten her license and all that, and my dad had taught her how to drive. And my dad wanted to give my sister his car. And we eventually found out that my grandmother had pretty much sold the car to one of her friends. And my sister also wanted, I forgot what it was, I think his baseball cap and a few other jewelry items. I also wanted some of the jewelry things, and when we went back to the house to get some of his belongings, a lot of it was sold. So she pretty much sold all his jewelry, pretty much anything valuable that was supposed to go to me and my sister, and we got nothing from that. So she pretty much stole money from us. And then when it was time to pay for the limo rides and all that, because remember I told you she used the limo for her and her family, and we were disincluded in that. But when we got the bill for everything, we had to pay for the limo when we didn't even use it. So she just stole from pretty much everything from us, and we never got anything back from that. So don't be saying that she's innocent when she's the one wrong. Just saying. I also wanted to say that around the time of, getting rid of my dad's stuff, my grandmother, my dad's father, wouldn't let my dad's girlfriend keep the engagement ring, and me and my sister wanted her to, because we wanted her to have something to remember him. And after we said she could keep it, we left, and then we found out that she ended up giving the wedding ring, the engagement ring, back to my grandmother, which it wasn't even my grandmother's ring in the first place. My dad had paid money for it, and he wanted his girlfriend to have it, which me and my sister approved of. So, and we just found it really disgusting that my grandmother did that. And that's just to show how manipulative she is and how disgusting she's been to my dad. And also, we heard from his coworkers that she would act all innocent just to get stuff from the police company and all that. Which, how can you do that? It's a police company. It's like she's taking from the government and all that. But yeah, she would just act like she was a victim, and she would end up getting pretty much all my dad's money. She sold pretty much all his stuff, which belonged to pretty much me and my sister. And it was just wrong of her. So yeah, I don't want you guys to think that I'm in the wrong for not wanting to be around my grandmother, because my grandmother was a horrible person. So yeah, I mean, how would you feel if your grandmother or grandfather was stealing from your mother or father? That of stealing stuff that pretty much was supposed to go to you. I don't think you'd want that to happen to you, so don't be commenting anything if you have something to say about it, because she was in the wrong, and that's it with that discussion because I'm not gonna, if anyone wants to post hate, comment any hate, then I'll just delete it. Simple as that. So yeah, just wanted to add that on so you guys know that my grandmother was a problem. Because me and my sister wouldn't just write her off if she wasn't a problem. We're not like that. We only know from what my dad told us and from what me and my sister have witnessed in the few days that we've been around her. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about her. But like I said, the police department that he worked with was so good. They did pretty much everything for us. So after that, we never saw her again, which was good because she died soon after, so I don't really care. I wish she died instead of my dad, so that's pretty much my story about the week that my dad died. We later found out that he had a major heart attack. And it was weird because he was, part of the reason he told me that we couldn't see him the weekend before was because he had, I think, pneumonia or something. But me and my sister found out that was just an excuse. We don't know what was wrong with him. When we went to his house to see his body, we saw a bunch of pill containers everywhere in his kitchen. So what we suspect happened is that he was sick and he was taking all these medications to get better, and somehow the medication probably messed with his heart because he had a weak heart. So we're guessing that triggered the heart attack. But yeah, I'm just glad I got to say I love you to him. I'm guessing that was part of some psychic thing, knowing that he was going to die. And I also, before he died, I had a dream that he wasn't going to be in my life much longer. For some reason, that freaked me out. So yeah, like I said, that's the end of my story about his death. He died March 10th, 2014. And his 6-year anniversary was on, I think, Tuesday? Let me check. Yes, it was on Tuesday of this week. But yeah, that's everything. So, I know this was a sad video, but if you liked it and want to hear more story times from me, just comment down below. And next week, Supernatural moves to Monday nights, so we will have a reaction video, I think Monday night or into Tuesday, depending on when I'm able to upload it. So, have a nice week, everyone. Talk to you all next week.